STAKK Nation,
Champions.
welcome back to a channel. Welcome back to a channel, and of course, we welcome you back to the channel with the BK Squad. How you doing today?
Very good.
Good.
How do I share this?
I'm talking to the BK Squad. How you feeling today, folks? You doing okay?
Great. The
Yes,
weather's
sir.
a bit today, but it's good.
Y'all out here like someone ate your cereal this morning. What happened? What's going on, man? Did someone snatch your cereal from you? This with the energy is kind of, huh?
Maybe
No,
it's the
we
weather
good,
outside.
good.
Hey, I bet you in the car right now, about to go get your cereal back, huh?
I wish.
You set yourself up for this one,
Awesome.
sir. Just had to mess with you. Hey, what are we talking about today, folks?
Today we're going to be talking about, I think it's a continuation of our last live show, which is Bitcoin and the Black community, third world countries.
Yeah.
Why is it that every time we bring Bitcoin to our people,
Yes.
they automatically reject it? They call it a scam. They don't believe it. They don't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a no, and it's not even a conversation to be held.
Well,
Interesting conversation.
that is an interesting conversation, isn't it?
hmm
They don't want to have it, but we're going to have to force it down their throat this time around, though. I think we do.
Exactly right.
Well, there is this aspect of free will. Let me throw this in there, okay? Because why do black people need the Bitcoin? Maybe they just don't want it. What if it's their choice not to be part of the Bitcoin squad? Then what happens?
They'll be left behind again, just like the followers been left behind.
Yeah.
But what if it's their choice to be left behind?
I don't think it's their choice. I think they've been lied to.
Dylan,
Yes,
I see you thinking about it, sir.
I think that they're I don't think they want to be left behind, but I think they something is actually blocking their vision or something from seeing what's really happening. So I think once that veil comes out, everything else changes, right? So there's so many different reasons why our people are not seeing what's actually happening, especially for like Bitcoin. Could be the basic things of life. Just have life every day. People get very distracted about those things, right? But they gotta pay attention. It's coming. It's here. So I think that's something that we definitely have to definitely absorb, because it's coming like a wave and it's coming to absorb all the money on the planet, right? So we gotta be
Listen,
aware.
here's my thing. Here's what I'm trying to figure out. What would you say, just for everyone, what would you say black people are missing out of by not buying Bitcoin?
I can answer that if you give me a chance.
Go ahead, brother.
All right. So, and I know there's probably a lot of black people watching us now. We've always been behind in the area of finance, because for the longest, I would say black in America, black in Africa, after colonization, our resources, our wealth, our sense of self, our sense of spirituality, all taken from us. Your language, everything taken from you, right? Your money, your ability to store value, not only was it just wiped from you, you created value and you didn't get paid for that value during slavery. You came out of slavery, you tried to store value, but of course they put all those different rules and regulations in the way to store value, right? Which sometimes make me think maybe Satoshi is black, because finally with Bitcoin, you can actually store value that someone can take away from you. So yeah, black people might not see the value of Bitcoin because they're like you say all the time. Their ability to see value has been manipulated. They go buy Nike shoes that somebody created, but hyped up the value. The Nike shoe probably cost them $5 to make. They sell it to you for $2.95. You transfer your value that you work so hard to that somebody else for thousands of percentage. Whereas you're losing value over a shoe that does not really have value, but they've hyped the percentage value of that whatever thing that you buy. Bitcoin is the one that actually has value, and you're paying for that value, and you own that value.
Mhm. I think it's also a huge lack of trust within the black community of other communities as well as other black people, right? So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Like a few years ago, Jay Morrison, this is probably back in 2016, 15, 16, 17, around then, came with the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, TREF. So he went to the black community, raised about $8 million in the black community. And to this day, people really can't see the fruits of that labor. So he used the 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 whole guise of this being, Tulsa, Oklahoma, um, when
And this is a black person.
Yep.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So, back in, the early parts of the 1900s, there were several towns across the USA that were fully black and fully self-sustained. And what happened to a lot of these towns, just like in Tulsa, whites came in and burnt it down. They
All of
had
them.
businesses, schools, hospitals, everything. They were fully self-sustained. And whites came and burned it down. And he used that name, Tulsa Real Estate Fund, to create something for black people, and pretty much ran away with the money. Did some shicey things with the money. So
Finesse
I
the
think,
people.
yeah. So I think there's just a overall lack of trust when it comes to investments and money, and I think
Yes.
also, um, I hate to be controversial, but there's some
I
parts
love
of
controversy,
religion.
man.
It's some parts of
Bring the
religion that
controversy.
there's some parts of religion that says to us, especially black people, don't money is the root of all evil. It's bad. Everything is bad. But I ask everyone, even if we have our own schools, even if we have our own hospitals, how does that run without money? Money is a tool. And once we start to understand that, and that's why we're here, we like to educate everyone to see that money is a tool. You don't worship it, you just use it as a tool to get to where you need to be. um but I think that's a huge part of it, is the mistrust within the black community of anything that comes, anything new. And of course, you've got Bitcoin that comes out. I've had so many conversations with people, well, what is this? What if the government made this? What if? Well, go educate yourself. Pretty simple. There's all this information out here on how Bitcoin started, and we try and help people do that, but you've got to take that within your own hands to run with it. You can't be spoon fed. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's part of that, is that huge mistrust.
Taking
But
back
I'll say
control of
this
their own
much.
value.
But I'll say
Hmm.
this much to you. I'll say this, right. It's like Bitcoin is actually the trust factor, right? So whereas for
Trust
every other
less.
currency, exactly, it's trustless, right? So we don't need anyone to trust. We could actually transact between each other without having to trust anyone. So that should be the thing that we definitely trust, right? Because we trust everything else, right? Somewhat we trust the money system, whatever, in certain ways, right? But this right here is for us because I ain't gotta trust anyone. The code is the trust. So I think again, as time goes by, black people of all, especially us, right, should be aware that this definitely fits our narrative, right? Because we don't like to trust, right? So this
Mm.
is trustless. It
Okay.
just makes sense, right?
Hmm,
It makes sense.
Definitely.
that's a good one.
This is I see where you guys are coming from, and I think that these are very strong points. First of all, those Kim, are you still with us? You wanna chime in, Kim?
Is she there? Where's she at?
Think she might be taking a quick break, trying to do something.
Oh, okay, no problem. We'll have
Mhm.
Kim. Kim will join us back here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I see where you guys are coming from, for sure, for sure. Okay, for Shizu, that's no problem. But let me point this out. I think that as a black community, hmm, sometimes we take some things and attach it on ourselves, things that do not belong to us. Okay, for example, people not trusting each other is not unique to black people.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I know Spanish people were like, ain't no way. I am not hanging out with these other Spanish people here. I've heard Asian chicks go, I'm not dating Asian guys. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things that we might want to look at it like, this is just my opinion on the situation. Okay. There are certain things in my perspective that we might look at it and go, well, this is what the black community does and this is what the black community does. And we need to be better at this stuff. Personally, I think that this is what human beings do. Right? It is what it is. However, it seems that they don't attach it to themselves to slow them down. But it seems like we do. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
I'm trying to make sense of it.
Can I chime in a bit on that?
Okay.
So
Let me take for example. Okay.
Yep.
So
I remember I told you about there was a guy who came, he posted the thing in the chat saying that black people cannot govern themselves, Africans cannot govern themselves, right? Okay. So let's say someone comes out and they're like, hey, black people cannot govern themselves. All they do is, engage in tribalism, shoot each other, right? And have never ending wars. Well, we'll go back now and say, well, let's look around the world. Who are the ones who are killing the most of each other? It is not black people.
Doing this happening right now in Europe.
Yes. But for some reason, they don't feel the need to absolve themselves or to shower themselves of this horrible behavior that they engage in. You understand? When they do it, it is political warfare or whatever the hell they want to call it. But
Macroeconomics.
with black people, they say tribalism, they are doing this and that. We're not doing anything that any other group is not doing. But somehow, it is used as a handbrake on our mind to stop us from moving forward. Because I guarantee you, anything that you have seen, corruption. Okay, they say African leaders are corrupt. How is it corruption coming there? Is it not the West that is bringing it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
When you talk about theft, right? When you talk about theft, where did we really see heavy theft? This idea of theft and everything comes from. It is from, listen, every people who have been or people who grew up in Africa back in the day understand that if you steal, that's your life, really. You know what I mean? Because people who are in that sort of environment don't have the tolerance to lose a lot.
Or a little.
You see what I'm saying? So, and I'm saying because, for me growing up, I saw it myself. Someone steals something, they chase them down, beat them up. Sometimes they burn them on the spot.
Right.
That was just something that was, I'm not saying that it's necessarily the same right now, but I'm saying that when you look at the environment, people have less tolerance for certain things. Same way, if you look at the black environment, we know that there's been things that have been done to us and which has tarnished us generationally, right? The whole slavery thing.
But it's been done to a lot of people too, though. That's a good point. Keep going.
I understand it's been done to a lot of people as well. Yeah, no problem. But today, okay, there's organizations called Black Lives Matters. I don't see organizations called the other one.
There is White Life Matters. It's just Ku Klux Klan.
Well, that's a wild jump. You're making me lose my train of thought.
Sorry.
The Ku Klux Klan, white people were not in slavery, brother. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
I know that there were other races of people that were slaves as well.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you think about it, back in the day, they used to call the Asian people, they call them chinks or something like that, right? And they had signs saying that they cannot come in.
Mute Kim, please.
If you're Asian, right? So, Kim, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm just trying to connect fully. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Carry on. So, what I was saying is, remember, there were the Asians who were in this country, the Chinese, right? And they were rebuked. They also faced segregation and things like that back in the day.
Yep.
But today, I'm sorry.
They were put in encampments.
Exactly.
World War II. World War One.
Exactly.
World War One. They put them. Yes. Japanese and the Chinese.
Japanese encampments.
But today, you see that they're a respected group in the society. They don't have what was it? Chinese Life Matters. Or which where were they from? Is it
They
China or
act,
Japan?
man. They just don't talk. They don't go and walk on the streets and block the road. It's action.
Well, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That this is where I'm saying that this is exactly where I'm saying that there seems to be a disconnect. The audacity that we're supposed to have a black people to carry ourselves and walk into a place like any other race is what is missing. Is what it seems like to me.
Why is that missing? What's here? Why is that missing? Like, what do you think is causing that? We're missing that. Why is that missing?
Why are we missing that?
Yeah, why missing it?
I think that we're missing. Well, I think that we're missing that because most people, to me, it seems like most people in their lives growing up fell into this indoctrination that another race was better than them.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong. I grew up as well in the same sort of environment,
Exactly.
but I cannot explain to you why I've never ever felt like another race of another person was better than I was. I still don't get it to this day. Right?
Right.
So, to a certain point, okay, I understand that there is obviously there's the history and everything behind it, but I think that to get past this, it requires for black people to first of all stop and take back that part of their mind that says that I am every bit as good as anyone, but you're not just saying it, you are moving like it. It is one thing to move like it, it's one thing to say it. Words of affirmation, whatever, man. People these days will come up with all kinds of freaking garbage, all kinds of words. Fine, you want to have your words of affirmation, say your words of affirmation. But the reality is, until you take the action, until you walk into a room and say, I wonder if I like these people, instead of wondering whether those people like you or not, you will just never have that audacity. I don't know how people can capture it back, but I think that that is what is missing with black people.
So what you're saying is that they're
you have,
missing self-esteem.
I don't know if it's self-esteem, but you have seen Julius Malema, right?
Yes, he has the audacity. I
Yes.
like to see, yes.
Exactly.
But you
I
see,
will
the
tell you
fact
that
of saying
I do
we
not
have-
you do not see black people talking like that every day. And that is exactly what. You see it every day if you're in Africa, but you don't see it every day here in America. I'll
and
pass
the
it back
fact
to you
of
guys.
saying that we have the audacity, like someone saying you have, that tells a lot as well, right? The fact of saying that we have to say that we have the audacity, that should be normal.
Yes.
It shouldn't be that you have the audacity. It should just be, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I definitely think that's part of it.
That's what
Also-
some people call privilege or white privilege. If you want to call it black privilege, it is that part.
But let's think about it. Blacks in America, slavery. What's it called when they tie somebody to the tree and they beat the living?
Lynching.
No, lynching is when they hang you on the tree. Is it balking or whatever they call it? When they try to,
we get it.
When they try to tame the entire community by beating the strongest one among them.
You mean buck broken?
Back breaking.
Something like
Or,
that,
buck-
right?
buck
mental
buck breaking. It was buck
Buck
breaking.
breaking, right? And so now that you've seen that, now let's see what they did to Michael Jackson. Let's see what they almost did to Michael Jordan. Let's see the great blacks in America and what they've done to that. They've done that to the point now that people just hush. Unfortunately, Africans, they've done the same thing to them, but they move differently still. It's like, you can kill us, but we'll still keep coming. Maybe it's something in the water that they drink over there, but they've softened us up really, really good here in America, where, like Brazen, we always say, Steve Ivo would rather take the money than fight for the people, because it's like, I don't give a care about the people don't care about me. Why am I taking their cross and carrying it when I can just live my life? Because he does not want to get balked.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, not if you carry the people's cross, you get balked?
They do.
Well, no. Look, this is the thing. I think that it is time to carry the people's cross.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. That's why we're talking about Bitcoin now in our community.
Wait, so I guess I misunderstood your point. So you're saying if someone,
I'm giving the reason why.
Yeah.
Especially black men standing up for black women in America. I'm like, come on, man, have a backbone. Speak up. Don't allow it to get abused like that in public. They just keep quiet and move back or say nothing.
I mean, I
Mm.
wouldn't
That's bad.
necessarily see that in the
Look
sense
at that.
probably
Jimmy's
like
back.
I think this country has definitely been a very like rebellious country in terms of black folks fighting the system. I'll say that much, right? They have been for generations, right? But over here it's a little bit different, like in a sense. Um, but I definitely think that it will happen here probably. It's gonna happen here as fast, right? The change in the mindset of us on this side of the world.
Mm.
This might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit faster, I think.
But my thing is, how do you get to that change, whether it's in how we feel about ourselves or
Yes.
how people feel about Bitcoin, and it's
Okay.
through education. That's to me,
Well,
that's the only way that you, in either case, you've got to educate yourself. You've got to educate your children. You got to try to educate your communities.
true.
Understand who we were pre-slavery, because our history, we were
It's not
on this
slavery.
continent for 400 some odd years, right? But
Hmm.
we were on the continent of Africa for thousands of years. We need to
Actually,
understand that history to understand who we are and where we go from here. The same thing with Bitcoin. You can only really, you can have all the conspiracy theories. Oh, this was started by the NSA. This was started by CIA. This
Hmm.
is started by whoever. But until you go and try to educate yourself to see and understand why there is value in Bitcoin, you'll never get to that point to actually be able to speak on it and
Hmm.
understand it and trust it to move forward. So in both cases, to me, it's education.
That's an
So,
interesting perspective there. Just if I may just Kim before you go, and so that's a very interesting perspective. Education is one way. I agree with you. Okay, but at the same time, there is this thing where they say simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Hmm.
Generally, most things are actually way easier than they seem. Secondly, people are very lazy. You understand?
you say that a lot.
People are lazy as shit. It's almost like it's the default mode. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? This is why people are not taking time to learn the Bitcoin. Let me point it. Let me prove something to you right now, right away. Okay, think about this. If you look at currently, okay, education as it is, most people and most things that they do, they have to go get a certification, they have to go do some learning, etc.,
Hmm.
etc., and there is a final end. Okay, on the other side.
You get paid money.
When you came to the understanding of Bitcoin, all of us sitting here, okay, there was no school. You didn't go pay for a course or do any of
Hmm.
that. But somehow, something struck you where you felt the need to keep studying this thing and trying to figure out what this is, which
Hmm.
is what brings you to where you are today. How many people do you know that have displayed the same characteristics that we have all displayed here?
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They watch the news.
People are
I
lazy,
think,
is my point. You don't come across like this. What we have, I mean,
mhm.
sitting all of us here and taking that initiative to go and learn something so incredible that right now we are leaders in the space. We can teach people a lot of things because of what we have gone through, the risk that we have taken, the sleepless nights, the money lost to obtain a certain level of intelligence on a subject matter so that we can use that to empower our people. You see, let me go back to the first option of these two things that I spoke about, the education, and then there is the simplicity. The simple part is that I think that you have to be, I heard this somewhere, this is not my line, but you have to be the example you want to see in the world,
Yes.
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Yes.
Because people change more quickly by inspiration than by rules.
Showing them.
Yes, right. When a kid sees a basketball player, they're inspired. I want to be a basketball player one day. They go outside and they start practicing some basketball. So I think that, and I'm going to end it here and get off my soapbox because I don't know where all of this stuff is coming from right now. I'm just flowing from the head. Listen,
Yeah.
I think that one, Okay, we have to be an example of the things that we want to see the Black community be. I think that we're really demonstrating that, going out of our way to learn these things, doing this live stream right now to push this information out there, and so on and so forth. Right. To be honest, I don't feel the need to go way far out of my way to like make sure that Black people get this. I hope they get it. I hope that they see us as an example and as an inspiration of what is possible when you choose to stop for a moment and understand what is happening around you financially, and then change your direction or place yourself where you should be.
I think that's
Right.
where it starts, Brazen. That's where it starts because, you know, in reality, the news has portrayed Bitcoin as some terrible thing for years, and that was done by design in order to keep the average person out of it. You know, so it's the unlearning and relearning that needs to take place, and the fact that they're, you know, traditionally, granted, in recent years, more and more people of color have, you know, have been researching and getting into the space. But way back in 2017, there weren't many people of color, you know, in the space, because we would go to conferences and we'd see nobody who looked like us besides our little BK crypto community. We're like, gee, this is crazy, you know what I mean? Maybe one other person.
I remember experiencing this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the whole unlearning and relearning, and the fact that it's like people need to know that there are people who are average individuals in the space, because, you know, for a lot of people, they feel like, oh, it's just people like you, or, you know, people who are, you know, extremely educated in the financial sector. You know, maybe they're traders or whatever the case may be. And a lot of people didn't have people who were like that in their families, you know. But for me, and I don't know, probably for everyone.
I blame the boomers for this, man. The boomers were lazy as hell, too.
That's what it is. It's like, I have always been the kind of contrarian individual within my family. It's like the outlier. You're like, I'm always like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go over here. Everyone else is going over there. But I'm like, you know, I'm going to go over here and see what's going on over here. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Were you that way in your family?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. You know,
the other way.
It always does.
To go and research Bitcoin and in the other coins, but Bitcoin was always the first for everybody, right? It's like, for you to have the wherewithal to decide that you were going to go and spend the months and hours of sleepless days and nights trying to figure out what in the world this is so that you can invest in it. The average person is just going to look at the average news, you know, NBC, CBS, you know, the financial news, and they're just going to say, oh, okay, they're saying no, okay, I'm not going to do anything.
And that's to piggyback off of what you're saying, Kim, on the subject of education, right? It's said that there are two types of education that we will receive in our lives, all of us. Number one is the education we receive in school, from the media, the one that keeps us bound to the system. And then the second one is the education we give ourselves. So whether it's Bitcoin or understanding our own history, we have to seek that ourselves.
True.
You know, so this is where when we talk about education, we have to have people understand, like, this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about formal education. We're talking about the education that you put into, you invest in yourself, and the education you give yourself.
It's also what we get at home for a lot of people. For a lot of, and you know, because, you know, it's like those conversations around the dinner table where people are talking, and the parents allowing their children to be part of the conversation when they're talking about, you know, deals around the table, and allowing kids to ask questions. You're like, oh, you know, like, so that right there is where it starts. And a lot, you know, it's like, I'm so glad that my family was never one that said, oh, okay, go over there and sit at the kiddie table. Oh, there's grown folks conversation. My parents never did that. My parents never did that, and I'm grateful. But, you know, a lot of people have a different experience. I don't know, for yourselves.
Yeah.
But I will say this much, right? I think our community, right, especially our community, is those little nuances from the time you were a kid that your parents would say subconsciously, right, would make you money would just block the money, right? As in, money doesn't grow on trees. Do you know how hard it is to get? All those little subconscious things is programming you to almost put blinders on the term of money, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't even
Yeah.
know what money really is. They don't want to deal with it. It's like it's hard to get. I don't want to deal with it. So a lot of
Yeah.
these things that we teach our children from when we're young, we gotta stop that as well, right? Because you're programming them to have this lack of think money is this one way, and it's changing our mindsets. So I think that in the household, as parents, we gotta change that shit.
Yeah.
We have to stop
Mhm.
talking like that.
I, I
It's
have
like
a story about that. It
crazy.
literally just happened like yesterday. So my daughter just lost her tooth, right? So of course we gotta do the fairy, what you call it, fairy
Tooth
godmother
fairy.
is
Tooth
gonna
Right,
fairy.
right.
come, tooth fairy, and you're gonna get money under your pillow. And it's like, why are we doing this? I gotta play along. I'm like, man, I told her, like, man, mom put the pillow, mom put the money under your pillow. My wife was like, nah,
Hmm.
pa, don't ever tell her that. Just tell her that the tooth fairy came. I was like, that's not
Exactly.
true. Anyway, so she went and put the money in the piggy bank, and I was like, oh, do you know that if you put the money in the piggy bank, inflation is going to hit away at your money? She's like, no, I don't want inflation to eat my money. What do I do with it? I was like, let's go buy some Bitcoin. She's like, yes, Daddy, show me how to buy some Bitcoin. So,
That's where it starts.
That's
That's
everything.
it.
That right there is
That's it.
That's it.
everything.
Mhm.
It's
That's it.
everything.
so she's going to be invested that money. But the interesting part though is this though. And I know Brazen likes to call people lazy. But then when I look at my life and how sometimes busy and just going it is sometimes, um, I just try to put myself in other people's shoes. Some people are working 2 or 3 jobs.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
have kids. Maybe they have started
Hmm.
having kids early. Not a lot of people are advantaged. And then the moment they get back from work, the first thing is just leg on the
Yeah.
table, turn on the
Yeah.
TV, watch sports and TV just to desensitize.
Desensitized. Yep. And that's
And
the
and
thing. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry about that.
and what they are accumulating is actually making their situation worse.
Hmm.
That's the
Yeah.
day to day for majority of people. And that could be called lazy, or that could just be called you're caught in the system and that is where they want you to be. I would say that's
Hmm.
majority of the people that don't understand Bitcoin that tell you no. Like my childhood friend, I was chatting with him the other day. I was like, did you buy Bitcoin when I was telling you to buy Bitcoin? She's like, yeah, but I sold it. But let me check my Coinbase real quick. Then he checked his Coinbase, it still had some.
Hmm.
So I was like, I'm glad you still have some. It's like, hey, guess what? My $97 is almost now $300. I was like, good. But do you understand Bitcoin? Then he said, let me
Hmm.
explain Bitcoin to him. Then I started asking him questions and explaining Bitcoin. Then he called me a conspiracy theorist. I was just like, all right, how
So
do I
so
help this
we
guy?
so we hear it from Rashona all the time, right? Is there's so many people out here that have an unhealthy relationship with money because of how they were raised, because of things that's happened in their past. And at the end of the day, sometimes, hey, we that is partially why we have the spiritual healing part to bridge that gap, to have a
Yeah.
healthy relationship with money, to really understand what it is, right? And I think that is one of the biggest parts of all of this is we have to teach people or get to the bottom of why so many of our people have such an unhealthy relationship with money.
Hmm.
It's like anytime we get money, we want to wear it on our back. We want to wear it in the cars we drive, the shoes we buy, the Versace, the this, the that, right? And a lot of that is a mindset of lack.
It's the
Until
music,
we
man.
really start,
Bling
there
bling.
you go.
It's not only
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah. It's part of the community. But at what point are we going to start to really talk about? And I think a lot of people are, starting to really talk about this, about
Well, we're talking about it a bit, yeah.
operating from a standpoint of abundance versus a standpoint of lack, and just having a more healthy relationship with money because you understand exactly what it is.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
whole idea of conspicuous consumption, showing that,
Hmm.
oh, I have the ability to buy this and buy that.
Hmm.
Yeah, people really need to get out of that mindset and understand that even prior to Bitcoin, even like buying real estate. and allowing that to appreciate over time. Traditionally, this is changing now, but traditionally, real estate ownership has been a path to wealth for families over time. But heck, that is even changing now.
Yeah.
So I think a
different
combination
time,
of
different place
exactly
we
a
are.
combination of like cryptocurrency and real estate and whole life insurance and things like that are the where it's at for me.
Okay.
One of the things that I had told my wife, right? Because sometimes, she works hard and, sometimes she wants the expensive bag and shoes and all of that. I said, okay, this is what we do. Every time you buy that expensive bag, buy the same amount in crypto, stocks, whatever investment, but
Mm-hmm.
so that you offset it, right? So you start to get those good habits because at that point, I think we start to think about, okay, I'm going to have to spend double of this if I really want this particular thing. Do I need it that much, right? So I think that those type of behaviors starting to change and shift that mindset of, hey, anytime I make a expensive purchase here, let me offset it with an asset over here or a purchase of an asset over
Yeah,
here.
I agree with that. There is a lot to
Unravel.
unravel here,
Back.
and I think that you guys are bringing some really, really strong points, really amazing points, and really things that everyone needs to be thinking about. However, okay, I want to
However,
yes, I
come
want
on,
to roll
man.
back.
It's
I want to
very
roll back.
fair.
I want to roll back to one thing, okay, because I believe that the reason why this adoption is so slow in the Black community
Yeah.
is because these people are lazy. Okay,
We're
but
going
listen,
back to lazy.
yes, I want to come back to lazy. Now check this out. Check this out. Okay, check this out. Um, the concept. I know we know what has been happening on the traditional news, right? The
Mhm.
traditional news, like Kim mentioned, has been manipulating people and their sense of value for the longest of times, right?
Mhm.
You also mentioned Double O, how again, same thing, traditional news, and you have people that go to work. All right, these people come back from work. They know that their life is not where they want it to be, right? Because they're probably complaining about something. They know that they have to
Bills.
be struggling, right?
Bills.
And
Bills.
then
Bills.
inflation adds to it, and you cannot even come back and watch TV because you now have to probably find another part-time job. Nonetheless, these people come back home and they sit there and they watch TV.
Mhm.
This is one correlation that I have made. These same people
Mhm.
are the same group of people who find someone like Ty Lopez. Do you guys remember Ty Lopez? I'm here in
course,
my
man.
garage,
With my
right,
Aston Martin.
with my Lamborghini. But what I like more than this Lamborghini is my collection of books. Okay. And I can show you how to get rich quickly. They will all jump on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? They will all jump on that. But they did not see that from traditional news. You see where I'm coming from? Because I'm really trying to get to
I
the
think
bottom of this thing. You guys don't understand how deep I am in this thing. I am 7 layers in many people's minds right now. Okay. I think
I think that's
it's
I
a
think part
spiritual
of that is
warfare.
the unhealthy. Yeah,
listen,
yeah.
man.
I
Maybe
think
we
part of
need to
that is the unhealthy relationship. It's
yeah,
the
we're gonna
unhealthy
have to have an
relationship with money.
exorcism to get some of these black people to cross their minds over and understand what is going on with this
Mhm.
No, we'll
Bitcoin,
take
man.
up the church and pray for them.
But
Listen.
Grayson, I think is what you prioritize, like what really matters to you, which is an individual thing, right?
Mhm.
What really matters to
Dylan, money matters to everybody. Money is the number one priority for everybody.
It is.
Protecting your value is number one priority for
you,
everybody.
right?
We're not trying to sell optional matters here.
Right.
Okay.
See,
When inflation
also
comes
matters.
through, inflation fucks everyone up, brother.
Right.
Unless you're living in a different planet. Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody's getting hit by inflation. Everyone is getting robbed by the banks. Everyone is broke as hell right now. Okay. So it's like, what is the priority at this point in time?
Come on, man.
Go get another job, 3 jobs, 4 jobs. What is it going to take for us to ever get to a point where we have the freedom to just do what we like, provide value, and then spend the rest of the time with the people that we enjoy our time with. And I'm saying that Bitcoin is offering this thing, and it is absolutely mind-blowingly insane to me that we have to sit here and convince people for this long to look at something that is benefiting their own life. It is absolutely insane.
Well,
This is why I'm
know,
saying that to a certain point, listen, guys, don't get me wrong.
We're listening. I like this.
They say like answer. You said earlier that the path to healing, right? They have to get on a healing journey. Before you can get on a healing journey, the first thing you need to do is acceptance.
Yeah,
Yes.
know what the problem is.
Realize
cannot accept what the problem is.
realize that there is a problem.
Yeah.
You have to realize there is a problem.
Exactly. And that is
And that's
exactly
the
what I'm trying to
unfortunate
point
part.
out here.
Yeah.
Man,
Let us all accept as a community that there is a serious freaking problem.
Oh, yeah, there
Let's
definitely is,
accept
right?
it. Right?
Okay.
I don't think black people really embrace it. I don't think they do.
come on, how are we going to embrace it
But
if
hold up,
cash
hold up,
money?
hold up. But let me
Because
tell you-
if
let
they
me say
did,
this, right?
okay, they'll be more riled up than they are right now.
I'll say this much to you, right?
All right, go do
I've
it.
told folks about Bitcoin for probably 6-7 years now, right?
Yeah,
And they always say, conveniently, right? I don't have any money. I can't afford. How much is it? They'll come with every excuse not to buy it, right? But they're gonna do their nails. They'll go drinking. They'll go smoking. They'll go do whatever.
Partying.
Every weekend, right? So again, I'm saying you're right. It's a lot of bullshit. People sometimes just say things,
Thank you.
but they don't.
Thank you, brother.
But
I'm trying to
again,
cut
the
through the
actions,
bullshit,
right?
man. Thank you. We are
The
getting there.
actions,
come on,
Let's
man.
go.
don't really.
How you buy Dylan over like that, man? Come on, Dylan, you can switch sides. Stay on my side.
No. Listen, I've been saying that shit for a long time, man. It doesn't really equate, right? You're saying one thing, but your actions don't really. It don't correlate, right?
Thank you.
It don't correlate.
Thank you.
I don't have any money, but I see you like in the club. I see you smoking. I see you drinking, but I ain't got no money.
I see you flexing on the gram or
Making
whatever. they use
on the
these
gram,
days.
right? You're on the gram flexing with your what up money or whatever you do, you blah blah blah. And what happened?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Guys, you have to understand this is spiritual warfare, right? So you go to church, you transfer you transfer your value through tithes and offering. The church never pay taxes on them, but they pray for you for abundance that never come. The prayers never pray away the inflation. Your salary is still the same thing from last year. The prayer didn't fix that. You might get a pay raise, but by the time you calculate inflation, it wasn't the prayer from church that allowed you to keep that job. It was your hard work, not the prayer.
Honestly, if it was left to me, I would tell God to send lightning on all these pastors.
Oh God, that's probably a pastor watching us right now. So
keep praying.
And then you take the rest of your money, you put it in the banks. The banks get richer with your money while you get poorer, or you give it to some investor, accredited investor. The guy charge you fees. They get rich with your money. They can go on the yachts. They can buy a boat. They can buy a Lambo with your money. But that is your value that you created. You gave it to somebody else. You trust somebody else with it when you don't even trust yourself.
Exactly.
But Bitcoin apparently is so difficult for you to understand. So the entire life, you keep transferring your value, your hard-earned money to somebody else to get richer. And then we're telling you that there's this one solution that allows you to keep it for yourself and stop giving it out, and you can get rich when other people buy it and they think you're crazy.
Look at Black Lives Matter, bro. Didn't those people get rich on Black Lives Matter? And what did they do for the people?
I mean, problem is not fixed yet.
Bro, they bought a mansion. They bought multiple mansions. And now some of them are getting persecuted for, you know what? Let me leave it alone. I don't want to. Let me stay on my path. let me stay on the Bitcoin path, folks. Okay.
Don't come for you.
I don't want to stray too much.
I just think all these things we're describing, it's all unhealthy relationships with money, that's what this society pretty much ends up teaching you from when you were born, to have an unhealthy relationship with money. Look at what society says. How many damn holidays do we have now in the world? And every single holiday, you got to buy somebody something. You got to constantly
spend.
be a consumer. You know, these are all unhealthy relationships with money that they taught all of us. But That's what keeps the system going. That's how they exploit people to get to that $1 billion. That's how Amazon, every single day you look in front of your neighborhood and everybody's got an Amazon package on their doorstep. These are the things
That,
that they indoctrinate us into so much on a daily basis, and it's all unhealthy relationships with money.
exactly.
But
It's so funny because so
they
many
also
years
play on
ago.
our emotions. They play on it. They play on our insecurities. Everything I want, like diamond ring. It's connected to emotion. Everything that they do is connected to our emotions. Everything.
Well, emotions
Emotion
is
and ego.
marketing. That's what marketing is all about. You want to tap into people's
Yeah, the
emotions. You want
emotions.
to
There
get a
you go.
reaction out of
There
people.
you go.
Mm-hmm.
When people go online and say controversial things to get attention, you know what I mean?
Is that what you're doing right now?
Now, people might think that's what I'm doing, but I'll leave that to them. If they think that's what I'm doing, great. If that's not what I'm doing,
That
then
shit is funny.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, jeez.
Champions never tell their tricks. But
Kimberly was saying something though.
go ahead, Kim.
No, I was going to just say that, God, I don't know how many years ago it was that I became the Grinch during Christmas time because I was like, this is just I mean, it's not, but it is. It's just an opportunity just to, spend money, just it's like because the idea of it has changed so greatly. And I got to the point, I was like, you know what? And I remember my father used to say, it's Christmas every day in this house. So, whatever. But, we'd celebrate it. But when I was an adult, when I became an adult, I was like, oh God, this is so commercialized. It's so disgusting. And so I kind of would veto it. And I became the Grinch at Christmas time. And people were just like, really? I was just like, okay, y'all gonna drag me out. Yeah, okay. But I'm just like, this is such BS. And granted, yeah, I go ahead on, I celebrate it for my son and whatnot. But I am such the Grinch during Christmas time because I feel like there's this false sense of joy going on.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not happy about anything right about now.
I think it's fine to buy gifts.
Yeah,
I think it's fine to get gifts for your loved ones. That's fine, but that is something that you do on your own time. You don't do it because it was marketed to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
They shove it down your face, and Bitcoin is saying this is an opportunity for you to take back control. That's what is important.
The amount of money you spend buying those gifts and decorating the house.
Right?
Nicola bought this house. I'm like, I gotta put up the tree. I gotta decorate the front of the house.
Think about it. Think about it. The day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, and people go crazy.
How come the
And
folks that
Cyber Monday.
talk about the trees and stuff, right? How come no one talks about it, right? I go cut a tree, I bring it to the house for like a couple of days, and I throw it away. That shit is baffling to me. You go cut a whole tree, put some lights for a day, next day you're gonna throw it away. What is that?
Cut a living
Taking
tree.
life.
And you
talk about you want to protect the environment.
It's something.
Exactly.
But
It's
that's an
so
interesting.
funny that you mentioned that, Dylan, because for years, my mother used to say that we had like live trees when I was very young. I don't recall that, but when I, had my son, I'm like, oh, I'm going to create Christmas for him and blah, 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 blah. And I committed to, from the time I actually was an adult and bought my first place, I was just like,
Classic.
I'm going to have live trees. And then it wasn't until, a few years ago, it was before the pandemic, that I actually bought my first fake tree as an adult. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be
This is
buying
where
this
it's at.
live tree thing. Really, I bought the fake tree. And let me tell you, honestly, I was
The best thing
right?
ever.
I bought a big, a 6 foot or 7 foot or whatever, right? And then I also bought, matter of fact, this thing is still here. You know what I mean? Hold on. Down. 3-foot thing is still up, honestly, in my downstairs. That's where I am right now. And that's just for, an extra sitting area. And let me tell you, that big 6-foot tree did not get put up. I bought it and it stayed in the garage for up until now. And that, 4 years, because I got it before the pandemic. And that thing did not see the light of day until this year. And that was only because a friend was coming from Madagascar. Okay. And she's very, into Christmas and everything. And I said, Lord, I gotta put up this freaking tree. I was so disgusted because we're creating a holiday for other individuals, because I always say to my son, what do you want? I can spend an arm and a leg getting you a bunch of gifts, or I can put that towards, how many different vacations, or what else? What do you really, really want? Like, and he always opts for vacation. Like
He
extra.
loves
That's a
experiences.
smart kid, man.
But
He
you
loves
know, I think
I
experiences.
said, you are my child. You know what I mean?
that's a beautiful thing because you can now buy Bitcoin, which will now
Experience.
just it could be a vacation Bitcoin fund.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you can buy some
Well, hey,
Bitcoins
we
for
already
vacation.
invested,
Yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
crypto.
See,
It is.
I
It
want
is
to say
that.
something real quick.
yeah. By the way, if you guys are in the chat, please let us know if you can
Yeah,
hear
if
us.
you can
Just
hear
do
us,
a
give
little
us some
sound
feedback.
check
Yeah.
because we've just been rolling like there is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let us know, and also let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Okay, we are here
So
for
I'm
it.
thinking also, right? So all these black countries who's been struggled along by the IMF and by the government, the US dollar, right? What normally holds us back? The money, right? The
Mhm.
money that's centralized, right? A lot of it the money. So again, example like African countries, right? The US dollar has been what's been the cause of all this shit for years, right? If
Yeah.
I don't have to, if there's one global currency, as in Bitcoin, your power will just decimate, right? Because you can't control the money. It's
Mhm.
it's
You can
decentralized.
control them.
You can't
Nope.
control me anymore, right? So that changes
Yes.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
changes everything. I think that's
Yeah.
gonna be the biggest. That I think is gonna be one of the biggest changes in the world, whereby countries are gonna be completely sovereign now. I don't need this American government, this US dollar. This I have Bitcoin, and I can transact with anyone borderless. There's no sanctions or whatever. It's gonna change everything.
So
Entirely.
People really
Kissinger. So Kissinger died. Was it this year or last year?
Uh,
I think it was
this year,
last year.
no, last year, last year,
Last year,
Yeah, I
right?
think it was last
And
year.
Yeah.
I keep saying, people keep saying America, America, America. I think America got hijacked. Traditionally, I think the same Americans that fought for the revolution, that the America that we had now, that created the constitution that we have, those type of Americans are still here, but they're not the one that are leading the country.
Hmm.
Hold up, say that again. I need to really absorb what you just said. Say it again.
Patriotic
they're still
Americans are not the
they're
ones
still
leading the
actively
country.
involved in the leadership.
Yeah. There's someone still.
I think
someone
things are
still there.
changing, but they're actively involved.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with No Ones, by the way?
With who?
Because
That
No
sounds
one's up.
familiar.
No.
I
No,
feel like I
no
heard
one-
that.
Yeah, you're carry on. I'm gonna pull up No One's up and I'm gonna show you is regarding something that Dylan mentioned there with the global
money
ability to
situation.
trade globally.
Yeah,
I'll show you
because
guys in a bit.
I'm trying to make a point here. I think that the original story that America sold to the world as being the world liberator, that was supposedly went to World War One and World War Two for, after President Trump, after COVID, people had time to sit at home and really sit down and figure out what was going on, and they were not running up and down. I think all of that started falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
The old sell that we give our taxes and we print money for the World Bank and the United Nations and the NATO situation. We saw what happened with Russia. That's also getting clearer. As a matter of fact, all the black and brown nations that we've been oppressing with the US dollar is also getting clear. So when we talk about Bitcoin and black community or brown community, it's literally a way for them to liberate themselves from what has been holding them hostage ever since whoever hijacked the country with whatever system that they have put in place now. This is the way to relieve themselves of it.
Also, I
Mm.
think the beauty about the Bitcoin is also accountability, right? So being able to see people's transactions, I think that's huge. That's huge. That's big. That's
You can see
very.
that right now.
Absolutely.
So you like
That's what I'm saying.
we talk about African corruption. Is it not the same West people that come and give them the money so that they can come and steal their resources? Is it not?
Yeah,
Is it not that same SWIFT system that they used to move the money to Swiss bank accounts?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yes. Exactly.
but I think in the terms of when people are like, when you can really see what people are doing with their money, like literally see in real time, it changes how people react to think twice about doing certain things, because I can see, okay, I give you this amount of money as a government. What are you doing with it? Right? I can see now. So it holds a different level of accountability for like people. It's gonna make you think twice about doing certain things because I got you under a microscope now. I can really see what you're doing. You know,
CBDC activity.
I think those things are gonna change just how the society literally functions, right? Because there's accountability now where we've never had before, ever, right? So, and I think Black folks wanted accountability because we've been the ones who have been subject to like the no accountability for all those years, right? People do things to us with no accountability. So I think definitely that's also a very big thing about this Bitcoin industry.
That's true.
Let me point out something. I'm just going to roll back here a bit. I'm going to point out something. I thought I cannot access the application from here because it requires a VPN.
Our regulators.
Yes, our regulators say that we cannot explore this website.
We can't touch P2P.
Now you see?
Insanity.
The same thing again, right? Yeah,
but
here we go.
if you look at it, so there is this application called No Ones. It's by
Right.
this guy named Ray Yusuf. He did like this other exchange previously, which is like a
Paxful.
big packs for some. So right now, let's say you have some Bitcoin. You can send that Bitcoin to someone in, or let's look at this. This is the top 10 countries that have made transfers. Okay.
Right.
Look at this list. You notice that a lot of these countries are countries that are anti-Bitcoin as hell.
Black and brown countries
Right.
too, by the way.
Yeah, like you see Nigeria, you see China, especially. We saw China shut down all Bitcoin mining, right? Okay, but they are in the top 10 of bank transfers last week. So
Peer-to-peer transfers.
Well, that thing says bank transfers,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But that's when I think what they're referring to here is the fact that this money has now left the fiat system and it has been transferred on this peer-to-peer application. Okay, so if you have Bitcoin anywhere in the world, you send it to someone in any country, really. I mean, this is just the top 10. And you can clearly see that the top 10 are countries that are super anti Bitcoin. They can receive that Bitcoin. They can either hold it, make a profit trade, right? Or they can sell it in another currency because you go onto this app and it is connected to every currency out there. It does not matter what currency, euros, yen, right, dollars, and it's all peer-to-peer. So there is no way to really shut this sort of activity down because it's peer-to-peer, right? And now it's out there and it's running rampant. And if capital flows into this thing heavily, they're not going to shut it down, period. Okay? Because the what would you call them? I don't want to say the producers because these people don't produce shit. But the business goes after the customers. Okay, the customers don't go looking for a business because if the customer is the one with the problem, right, and a business is supposed to solve a problem. Okay, so and we see it right now. These people have been talking down at Bitcoin for ages. Not ages, but you get the point. But one thing you notice is that one, they cannot stop talking about it for something that you guys don't like. You cannot stop. It seems they cannot keep it out of their mouth for like 2 seconds, right? And now you see them buying it in droves. That's because if the market says this is the way we're going, the same way society has always decided what money is. If the market says this is the way we're going, these people have no choice but to move in that direction. Because a lot of the control that is happening right now is just social engineering. These people really don't have any juice. That's what I'm saying. I'm calling their bluff.
Juiceless. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that all those countries are black and brown people too.
Yeah.
Literally, all of them. Is it the World Economic Forum that is telling their leaders
they do
to not take Bitcoin?
They do. I mean, you remember El Salvador, the moment those people adopted Bitcoin, they called them and
They
told
were
like,
pissed.
IMF coming after them.
IMF
but
was
you have to
pissed.
continue. You have to continue. So there is BRICS now, okay, which has already broken this stronghold that the dollar has on the global currency, right? Then On top of that, BRICS is creating another currency, and then you have the Chinese yuan, which is also being used, globally. Might as well say that right at this point in time.
Yep.
So we have now 3 rails of payments that are going on, along with the SWIFT, and then you have Bitcoin as part of it. So if those other ones can do it, Bitcoin has every damn chance to do just the same, and it is doing it. It's doing it. It's not like, this is not something that there is a team and a group and you're waiting for. Maybe there's going to be a UK use case. This thing is changing lives right now.
I would just say again, I just go back to what Kim was talking about earlier, unlearning and relearning a sense of what money really is. We don't realize how much of a system of control it's been, for all this time. You sit from a perch on high in this country, in the US, and you take for granted, regardless of what, if a country disagrees with us, for us to be able to say, hey, we're going to shut you out of the system, that's just so mind-boggling to me. Like when Uganda, and just to as a first and foremost, I say, listen, I am for anybody believing and doing what they want to do with their life, loving who they want to love. But Uganda as a country came together and made a vote for policy. For us as the US to be able to say, unless you change that policy that your whole entire country voted for, we're going to sanction you. That is outrageous to me. So that means anybody can sit up in that White House, and if somebody doesn't agree with them, the US has the power to play police, world police, and sanction them. And I remember,
but that's the thing, they do not have that power. And I think that that's what is insane about it, because they move around like they have that power. That is the audacity I'm talking about. Because some people really think that it's okay for the US to say that. It is even more insane that they got to the point where they feel that they can do that.
They have, but they have. That's the thing. They have done it.
They have the military.
They have done it.
I understand that they're doing it, but that's what I'm saying. That this is the point. I don't want you guys to skip this. Okay, let me hold on one moment. I don't want you guys to skip what I'm trying to say here. They can do it. Yes. They have military might to come and rain upon you. Yes. That does not mean they have the power to do that.
Right. Correct. Now that we have,
and
Bitcoin,
that is where I press in my mind. That is where the buck stops. Because if you do not have the power to do it, and you do it, the next thing that happens can only be a response, whichever that response might be, simply because you do not have the audacity to do as such. Think about this. You're going down the street, and a random person runs up on you with a knife and says, you're wearing a red bag today. Why are you carrying a red bag? I'm going to stab you because you're carrying a red bag today. Can they do that? No. What you see as a person is that, this crazy person has run up on me with a knife, saying something about a red bag, and I'm going to respond. That's it. The insane idea that it's a negotiable thing where you should come and be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should have worn this back. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. It is insane. It is insane. And that is where people are losing it.
Right. Right.
I don't get it. You're right. I feel like at that point, we should not even cross that point. That is where it should end. If that's what they voted for, so be it.
My thing is, it's become such a norm that it's kind of expected that it should be like that and you're correct. It shouldn't. And that's the part that we have to unlearn, that these things, regardless of what, these things are unfair, and you shouldn't have that unique power like that, but it comes at a cost when you are the world reserve currency. And this is why every single nation that had previously been the world reserve currency has crumbled before, because you get into this stage where people get sick and tired of you. And you abuse you're abusing your power, and people are getting sick and tired of it,
The Dutch did it.
Things change. Exactly.
Britain did it with the pound.
Yes.
Yep.
Britain did it with colonization.
Notice one thing with all of these things we're talking about. How did they get there? How did they do it? They just went and took it, right? They didn't ask for it.
That's it.
Okay. That's the same thing we need to do. We need to go and take it back.
You think black people need to do that?
Black are already doing that. But for anyone who is not doing it, I mean, African nations are already doing that.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. But for anyone who is not doing it, that's what you need to be doing. Go and take back your right. Go and take back what belongs to you. Don't let people disrespect you.
Simply buy
Stand up for
Bitcoin.
yourself. That's really where it starts from. Do not let anyone ever freaking come across you like you're better, you're anything or anything like that. I don't care if you're the worst person on earth. Okay. You cannot let another person come across you and make you feel like you are less than. That is what we need to take back
That's
for ourselves.
that's
And you know what is
self-empowerment.
interesting? Here's what is interesting. Generally, when people say that you have to go and take back what is yours, there is always violence implicated. You understand? Because most of the time, when someone crosses you and you have to go back and go and take what you're taking from them, you have to either go and take it by force, right?
They
Most of
won't
the
give
time
it
it's by
up.
force. Or you have to go and try to beg them or finesse them, whatever. We find ourselves in a unique situation unlike any other in the history of mankind, where we don't even need violence. You can just opt out.
Choose to
Just buy
exit.
Bitcoin.
Choose to
Yeah.
exit.
Yeah, well
Yeah.
said. I hear.
Choose
And
to
that
exit.
will allow us to take back that power. Because at the end of the day, like we all agree here, it's the money that is the problem.
Yeah, that's the catalyst. That's what that's what we all get up every day for. People work 7 days a week for what? Money. Miss their family. Don't see everything for what? Money. That's the most people don't understand, right? Almost everything we do in life subconsciously comes from money, and they act like it doesn't exist. Oh, it's this, is that. It's not about the money. It's about the time it gives you.
It's the
Time,
it's the value. Yeah.
the value that it gives you. Not about
And it's the same thing with them being able to invest in Bitcoin. It's not the money, it's the value that it gives you.
Yes.
All the values that it comes with, the separation of,
The
of,
freedom.
of money from state. That's a huge value. You know, that has nothing to do with money. That's a huge value that it comes with.
So we had a revelation today when we were interviewing a guest on our show. Wonderful guest, Mr. Harvey. And he made a comment that I think resonates and should resonate around the world. I might not be saying the comment exactly, but I'll say it now. And this came from Mr. Harvey. So nobody should steal it. It says that Bitcoin, you know how we talk about Black legacy and how Black people need to catch up on their investments and building
Right.
assets because we've just been so behind?
The wealth transfer.
Wealth transfer. Guess what? Bitcoin is the only asset that when rich people, the cantillionaires are buying it, when they buy it, you get richer. I'll
exactly.
repeat. When
Exactly.
the super rich buy Bitcoin, either through ETFs or whatever else,
Yeah.
you little person that could only buy $10 worth of Bitcoin, you also get richer.
So in other words, why you're saying that if I was Al Sharpton with his bald ass head, okay, okay, and I've been pushing for black equality forever.
Yep.
Now would be a great time for me to be on every TV network going, listen, if you are black, your ass better go buy some Bitcoin.
Yes.
Because when these BlackRock people start buying this thing, you're gonna get your reparations, boy.
Price is going up to the moon.
Where's Al
That's
Sharpton?
it.
But I
Chilling.
think also
Taking
what,
some more Biden money.
Nice, okay, we'll let him slide. He's
but
cool.
this guy
Probably
was saying that also,
old
right,
age home. You know what I mean?
that everything else can like the gold ETF, right, can go up because you could actually mine gold. Stock prices change because you could make more shares. For bonds, you could also issue more bonds. With this asset, you can't do that. You
Yep.
can't make
Can't
any
make
more.
more.
You can't issue more Bitcoin. You can't issue more bonds, more stuff. It doesn't. There's no making more of the shit. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. Folks need to understand that, right? You could always
And the supply
make
is
more
going to
There's
gold.
drop
21
next
million.
year.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Again, we talking value. This is all value. This is
Yeah.
what gives it its value. So, and that's the thing. I get sick and tired of hear, oh, what is Bitcoin backed by? It's all of these values that are not present in any other currency, in any other store of value. One of the parts of a currency is to be able to store value. But what currency on earth is storing value? What currency on earth? There's none,
No.
including the US dollar. It's not storing value. Now, against each other, that's one thing, but that's supposed to be a characteristic of money, is to store value. So if there is no currency on earth that we can say it's a store of value, then what are we talking about?
Exactly.
It's
Why are
besides
we not in
Bitcoin.
this?
But
Besides
also,
We're
Bitcoin,
talking
yeah.
about a scam.
no one talks about, right? Why is
There you
Bitcoin in
go.
so many denominations, right? People never ask that question, right? Why is it that many numbers? Think about it, right?
The Satoshis.
I'm saying exactly. So if it was meant to be that less in value, why would it be that divisible by that many numbers?
Exactly.
I always
Why
tell
would it
people
be?
that
Huh?
I always tell people that once upon a time
Think
you
about it.
could buy stuff with cents.
Now you can't.
Once upon a time you
No,
could
you
buy
can't.
stuff with
Now you
cents,
can't.
but
You can't.
inflation inflated it away.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Nothing.
In the case of Bitcoin, because you cannot print anymore, we are going to go not just from the Bitcoin standard to a deflationary, which is this people's like deflationary is bad for the environment. I'm like, no, you guys don't get it. Real money that has real value allows you for your money to still exist many years from now, which is what those
Exactly.
satoshis are going to be doing. You don't even
Exactly.
need to buy bitcoins. Start accumulating those
Buy
satoshis, because
sats.
many centuries from now you will still be able to buy stuff with satoshis.
Yes.
Exactly. And
And
you will
that
actually
shows you
spend
how
less
much it's
satoshis
And
to
for
get
the
more
so-
stuff.
But for the people who aren't even familiar with Bitcoin to any degree, understand that Satoshis are the very minuscule pieces of Bitcoin. Okay. So you don't have to purchase a whole Bitcoin. You don't have to purchase a half a Bitcoin. You start with, $5, $10, $20, whatever you want to do, a week, a month, or whatever. Those are Satoshis.
Yep. And the funny part about that is I think now I get what those ordinals are up to. Because they're now
Yeah.
using those satoshis and storing value.
Value.
I would
Value.
prefer them to store like smart contracts and other better things in them.
They're
But
trying
they're
to
like,
do that.
I know, but majority of them are storing JPEGs and GIF in them right now.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I
Now-
know,
now-
I get it. You guys are like decades ahead of us trying to take up space on those satoshis. But then I think of, computers are actually going to that next level where we're having, instead of bits, we're having quad bits.
Quad
So
bits.
instead of
Yep.
just zeros and ones, you can store more data in a satoshi in the future.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man, this is
Yeah.
about to blow up, man.
I mean, again, I'm keep telling folks that again. Why would it be that divisible by that many numbers if it was meant to be a tiny value? Just think about it. Why that many numbers?
Yeah, because we have over 8 billion people on this planet. So and see, the part that they also say is, oh well, why can't you buy anything with Bitcoin? Because there's no place in this country that accepts it as legal tender. Let them start
Yeah.
accepting it as legal tender.
Actually,
You will see an economy based on
yeah.
Bitcoin.
There are some.
That's
there are
what they
some-
won't allow.
Yeah, so I think there are some places that accept Bitcoin, but you're right. It is not official legal tender.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
definitely
definitely,
not.
yeah.
It is
Right.
not.
In
However,
America.
You can
what
still do
is
it.
official legal
Right.
tender though? What is official legal tender? Because at the
because-
same time, because there are places that accept Bitcoin for stuff right now, right? Like there are some
My
farmers and
barber
things like that.
does.
Which, if you think about it, it's like when you do a trade. Maybe I remember, back in school, we used to trade pens. I'd be like, hey man, I
Yeah.
have this pen here. You know what I mean?
Different colors.
Yeah, double spring action, my boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see. You know what I mean, I see.
You got,
I see
you
you
got
have
the
that.
pen with all the colors.
Exactly. I see you have that
Right.
fresh pencil over there, man. I give you one pen for two pencils over there. I like the highlighter situation you got going on there, champion. Right. That's that right there. The pen and the pencil. That is now your currency. Right. That's now the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's no different from someone swapping a car for another one,
Right.
or swapping your Bitcoin for whatever else you want to
Whatever.
buy.
Mhm.
And you see in that equation, the IRS falls on his face. But here's the thing. It's actually not that the IRS falls on his face. Things happen as they should, because it is still legal in this country to pay people with cash. And if you pay someone for something with cash, how are they going to tax you on that situation? Right?
Exactly.
They don't know.
There are
They
people
don't
that
know.
do that all the
They
time,
don't know.
intentionally.
Exactly.
Payment cash so that IRS is out of my pocket.
Garage sale, right? You can do garage sale, boom, right there. Even Cash App was the same thing. You could pay for stuff, and then they started wising up to you like, oh, wait, this is too much money moving around. If you cross 600, we want to
We
tax
want
it.
to know.
Why are you taxing it for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what have you done to earn these taxes? Because the last time I checked, I'm paying my taxes, but goddamn, the freaking nation's capital looks like somewhere in I would not even say developing nation, because developing nations are doing pretty good these days. You know,
You already
even in
tax
the worst
federal,
state that they're
states,
in.
local taxes, and you still want to tax my transaction?
Exactly.
What the hell?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
So
Yeah.
it puts you now in that situation. And, again, these people are just not there. As much as, listen, man, they can go and get Chainalysis or whatever sort of ninja that they want to get these days, or blockchain ninja or anything. I just don't see it happening. These people will be humbled. I'm saying it again. These people will bend the knee for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has checkmate all of these people. And that is why I think that we literally have an open window as a Black community, as Africans, as anyone that has not been financially included up until this point.
Say it again.
Okay, it was a very long line. I'm not going to say it again. Rewind the clip. Okay. Oh, yeah. Give myself one of those. To change their situation by purchasing this unique asset. That's all I have for today, man. What else do y'all have? It's a beautiful
That's it
Saturday.
right there.
I mean, I think that was a good way to say that. That was why I said say it again, man. If you're still waiting for reparation, you saw all the money that they sent to Ukraine and not the money that they sent to Israel. They didn't give us a penny. COVID happened, they still didn't give us a penny. And you're still waiting on reparations, man. These folks ain't about to give us shit. Just buy Bitcoin.
Just
And
buy
as they
Bitcoin.
buy it, you
They're
also
gonna
get
give
richer.
you-
It's
there
as
you
simple
go.
as that.
They're gonna give you your reparations. That's right.
This is what happens when
Stack
you say,
sats and take a nap.
our school is running out of funding. Send us something.
Next day.
Go your school to buy some Bitcoin.
Right?
Incredible. Hey,
jeez.
let's wrap this up, man. Before it goes out
Yes,
of
it was
control.
good. Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen. This has been an exciting one, but I just want to slow it down here real quick and tell you guys a few things. Go to bkcryptocoach.com. I'll say it again. Go to bkcryptocoach.com. Okay, over there, you can schedule some time to engage with any one of us. So maybe 15 minutes or so, free session for us to give you a preview of what we can tell you about. Maybe your friends or some of your other family are interested in learning more about this whole Bitcoin and blockchain space and crypto and so on and so forth. Listen, we have a strategy to put them on a path to understanding, especially these boomers. Okay.
Oh,
Don't go attacking them. Come, slow it down. Slow it down.
I'm not attacking the boomers. I'm not attacking the boomers. The boomers are my homies, man. What are you talking about?
You said you were about to slow it down. Slow it down.
No, I'll slow it down. But check it out. Okay.
Okay.
Please check us out over there. Okay. Sign up. We also have a group chat, community chat, where you can join in and we share a lot of very resourceful information with you as we explore the space ourselves. Become part of a community.
Especially if you need some financial soul healing. Heal your soul, change your mindset first.
Yes. Financial soul healing is definitely a strong piece.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strong component of what we have offering over there on bkcryptocoach.com. We also have merch over there. And of course, we also have a free book. We have a free ebook on there on crypto coaching. So please, once you hop on there, be sure to download it. We'll have
the trading classes.
Yes. And the trading class as well. We also have that going in there. I'm putting together, we actually have it, right? But I'm putting together a separate piece of notes because we're going to have just like some Bitcoin specific stuff, which we have on STAKK, but don't go to our website yet. It does not look beautiful.
It does not have the sex appeal.
Yes. So be careful before they come and agitate us. I don't. Because next thing they say it was an OnlyFans site. They were holding girls over there. Yeah. It's madness. You know that in this country, when they don't like you, the first thing they come at you with is sexual assault.
Okay.
They just find a bunch of random women like this and say, "Oh yeah," and they believe the woman first.
Unfortunately.
So even if you're innocent, at least you will stick first before you release it from your body. crazy world we live in. Anyhow, let's wrap this thing up. Kim, I'll pass it to you, please. Anything else you want to say before we close it out, and then we'll just go around answer Dylan, and then double will finish up.
Oh, I think that you pretty much said it all, said everything needs to be said for today. The most important thing for people to do is to do a bit of research. We just encourage you to do a bit of research because this journey is yours and yours alone. So, and if you need some handheld holding, we're here for you. That's it. BKCryptoCoach.com.
We're here to help you change. We're here to help you change your relationship with money. Understand what it is and understand how to use it as a tool to help you to get to where you need to get yourself and your family, your community to in this life.
I think, like Kim said, I'm hand holding. We have a very a safe space for folks to learn about cryptocurrency, right? It can be very daunting, but we're here to help you. And it's good when you have a community, a group. Everything starts with community. So I say, Jeff, check us out again. That's bkcrypto.com/coaching. Thank you.
Incredible.
Dylan about to send you to church.
Yeah, the church.
Go ahead, Double O.
Man, I will repeat Mr. Arvis' comment. I know they got the strangle on our neck all these years, but if you're still waiting for that freedom, because most people get into Bitcoin for money. Oh, I want to get rich. Yeah, man. I tell you, man, Bitcoin is the only asset that when you buy it, you get richer because other rich people were buying it.
Exactly.
First time ever.
Preach on, brother.
Let's just keep in mind that nothing goes up forever. Okay. Yep. And so there'll be a roller coaster ride. You have to have a strong stomach, and this is probably the last cycle where altcoins will rise heavily as well. I'm sure many of you are going to hear about various altcoins and meme coins and everything else, but keep in mind that nothing goes up forever, and you would have to ride the different market cycles and see where you land in a few years from now.
That is why we teach a trading class, so that you can know how to hop in and out of those altcoins. Don't trade
it's a marathon,
Bitcoin.
not a race, right? It's a marathon.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a race.
Marathon. So.
Stay disciplined, folks.
Stay disciplined.
If you sell it, I'm buying it.
Okay. And that's what's happening with the big corporations now who have these ETFs.
If you sell it, I'm buying it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what they're getting. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well,
peer-to-peer.
We have a peer-to-peer. What about peer-to-peer?
You always do that at the end.
Oh, yes, please. I would like to read you guys a lullaby before we go.
It's the standard lullaby going forward.
Okay, yes, it's a lullaby going forward at the end of the show. We like to read this lullaby. You never know where I will end as I start to read the lullaby. Okay? Think of it as a bedtime story. This bedtime story was from Satoshi Nakamoto. Back in those days, his email was satoshi@gmx.com. But then again, I don't know if you know who wrote this one. But we thank God that the email is there. And it says that a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, catch that part, would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read that line one more time. Will allow online payments, okay, to be sent directly from one party, who, that is you, from you to me, one party to another, without going through who?
A centralized
bank. Financial institution.
As a matter of fact, we've actually upgraded that now because we can do it offline, thanks to layer 2 solutions.
Layer 2, right?
I think this thing has been able to operate on microwave.
Yeah,
microwave
before all of this.
That works as well. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, as much as I'm not going to read the whole lullaby for you guys here, I'm just going to come to the final line where it says messages are broadcasted on a best effort basis, and notes can leave and rejoin the network and will
At will.
at will, of course, right? And accepting the longest proof of work chain as proof of what happened while they were gone, whenever they joined that network again. So you can spend, I don't know, $200, $300, build yourself a small node, which you can connect your Bitcoin wallet to. This means now your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin wallet is really separate from everybody else because it's running on your own node, not on someone else's node when you're using a self-custody wallet. And you're also helping to secure the network. You become part of this environment. You become part of the bank,
Of the
right? Your own
ecosystem.
bank, the ecosystem that is taking us to this financial future. So the paper is there. If you want to go and verify for yourself, right? Because when you tell people about this thing and they say it's a scam, but I'm wondering how many of you can read this paper and understand it before you call it a scam?
Don't be lazy. Be a champion.
Exactly.
Bitcoin that hug.
Unbank yourself.
Okay. Hey man, let's get off this live stream before I'm sorry some people are coming to cancel me. Yeah.
All right. Thank
I still
you.
have a lot of long lives to live before all this type of crazy stuff.
All right.
Anyhow, should I close it out here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely incredible stuff here. Okay, we're going to be dropping the team. You guys hang on. We'll be joining you guys to be here. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Okay, like the video, share it with your friends, so on and so forth. Our handles are not coming on. We are STAKK on YouTube, STAKKFin on X, and of course STAKK on Spotify as well. All right. Until next time. Peace. I think that is the wrong button there. At the time when I